Hello everyone, welcome back to the Forest Job. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's time for another game of football, this time against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium in the Premier League. Before we get into that match though, we've got highlights of a couple of games that have been played off camera. Let's go straight over to those now. A couple of pretty handy victories there for the Tricky Trees then. And, well, a victory and a draw, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself there a little bit. So, as I said, today's game is against Leicester City. We're going to head straight into that game as soon as the calendar allows us. While we're waiting for the calendar to load up, I'll just give out the old customary reminder that if you enjoyed a video, feel free to drop a like on it, as well as subscribing and clicking on the notification bell so that you know whenever a new episode drops. It helps with the algorithm, it helps with new people finding the the channel, and it would be lovely if we could get more eyes on the show. Right, so we've got some scouting set up. I'm just going to run you through these very quickly. We've got a midfield scout, we've got a forward line scout, and we've got a specific left back scout out there at the moment. The left back scout is looking for players that are still developing. So is the centre forward scout, whereas the midfield scout is looking for very much the finished product. Let's have a look, because Guendouzi has been he's been recommended, and he looks like a decent player, to be fair. Good defensively, reasonable offensive awareness, his dribbling, tight possession, his passing is amazing. Great stamina. He's a good up and down player. I imagine he's a box to box, is he? Yes, he is. He's a bit of a bad boy, but he's not a bad player. Step on ball control, rising shots, one touch pass, weighted pass, man marking, interception, fighting spirit. He could play as our defensive midfielder, most importantly. That is definitely something that we're going to have to consider. I will add him to the listed players. The transfer window is opening any minute now. He's got a release of 58, a value of 36, 50 grand a week. We can definitely afford Guendouzi. Question is whether we want him or not. Anyway, on to the game today. As I mentioned, it's another match against Leicester. We played Leicester on the opening day of the season. We are back to playing the Foxes once again, and we'll just have a quick look. And oh my word, there are a few players that need to be changed out. Bremer and Hugma are going to make up a completely new defensive partnership. I've never played them together before that I can remember. We're going to have to do something about the midfield as well. We could play Arcas in midfield and then play Nketiah and Hernandez, or we could play Cosgrove as the advanced striker with Hernandez playing around him. That would work. Let's move Wilson and Hlošek to their preferred flanks, which are actually the flanks opposite to that of their foot. So they both play more like inside forwards or inverted wingers. Might actually just give Camavinga the day off. Asensio could play or sit on the bench for us at least. Yeah, let's do that then. Right, I think that is as much as we need to do. So we'll get straight into this game then. Let's change the strips because it's weird having the home team playing in an away shirt. There we go, Blues versus Reds. I don't know why it said that we needed to have them in a different colour shirt other than their home shirt. It's not like blue and red clash particularly. Right, here we go. So, 4 points from our last 6. We sit approximately 5th in the table, if I'm remembering correctly. Probably should have looked at that before we started the game today. A win here would be very, very handy indeed. 4-4-2 is it's a system that I am very quickly getting used to again after having spent many years not using it. I don't think I've played a 4-4-2 regularly in Pro Evo since probably 2016, so it's been a while. Leicester are playing around us very well. Iheanacho has a chance very early on. They've recycled the ball well. Tom David, oh dear, oh dear. We got away with that one. Right, and away we come now with the ball. Arcas into Hernandez. Busquets, the ball runs past him, but he'll retrieve it and come forward now. Ribeiro into Hlošek. Ribeiro on the overlap. Into the middle, header, and it's in the back of the net. 8 minutes on the clock, and Chucho Hernandez has got the opener for Nottingham Forest. Something that I really like about the 4-4-2 is the ability to just interchange overlapping passes down the flanks. And if you get it right, and the striker is aware of your intention, you can score headed goals galore. Lovely header from Chucho Hernandez. And it's 1-0 to the Tricky Trees. Here we go. Let's go, Garibaldi's. And of course, if you had been told at the beginning of this match that our first goal would come from a header, you probably wouldn't have guessed it was going to be Hernandez, knowing that Cosgrove was playing alongside him, would you? Oh, that's very well run by Pereira. Tom Davies now in the middle of the park looking for a pass. Finds Under. And that's a long-range pass, long-range shot, sorry, which is not going to bother the keeper whatsoever. He'll take those all day long. Hugma. Here's Floshek. Into the box again, and Cosgrove gets his head on that one. And very unlike him, he ends up skying it over the bar. But Floshek, despite being a right footer primarily, has got a very decent left foot on him, and he can get a cross in as long as he's not overextending himself. So Leicester have been warned. There's Pereira. He managed to get around Yuri Ribeiro, but inexplicably then decided to cut back inside. Now Hlošek wins the ball in the centre of the park. It's an uncharacteristic bad first touch from Cosgrove, which costs his team possession, and now Leicester have it back, and they have 3 men on this right hand side. Pereira looks to cross it in. Iheanacho in plenty of space with plenty of time, but doesn't manage to get the header off. And now Wilson comes charging forward. He's got Hernandez making a run ahead of him. Doesn't need him, and it's, I tell you what, it's a good shot. Ooh, just behind Cosgrove. You could see the intention. The pass was just slightly behind his man, unfortunately. Now here's Ndidi. And he doesn't manage to get the pass right. Cosgrove, Hernandez, into Wilson. Back to Hernandez. Oh, into Hlošek. And he puts it wide, and that's a real chance for Hlošek. We know he can hit them from that kind of range with pretty decent accuracy. Leicester have gotten away with one. They'll restart from the goal kick here. Hernandez making sure that he keeps the defenders honest by patrolling just outside the 18-yard box. They managed to circumvent the press. It's not much of a press, in fairness. There's only one striker, with Cosgrove sitting in deep behind, even though he's being played as a much more advanced centre forward. Hernandez here, he just overruns it. Cosgrove does a really good job getting his foot in, though. He's making a right old pain of himself. Forest have been very good defensively down this left-hand side today. That's a shame. A little bit of a deflection. Cosgrove couldn't get on the ball. Now here come Everton down Forest's right. We'll see if they can have a bit more luck on this flank. And it looks as though the ball's a bit too heavy. Indeed it is. It goes out for a goal kick. Newball, under absolutely no pressure whatsoever, decides to just play it nice and short. And the centre-backs just exchanging passes. Now it comes out to Yuri Ribeiro. Oh, that was a risky one, and it didn't pay off in the end. But then Leicester leave a bit of a loose one. Oh dear. So Fook has fooked it up. And there's a free kick against Forest here. Don't think it's in shooting range. You never can tell. A one-man wall then, and Tom Davies will flight this over the top. Busquets gets a good strong head on it, clears it, and it's all the way back to Fofana on the halfway line. Now here's Pereira. Another good tackle, this time by Hlošek. And there's the half-time whistle. It's 1-0 to Nottingham Forest thanks to an early headed goal by Hernandez, the Colombian striker, surprising some by being the man to come up with the headed goal when his strike partner was probably the more likely. I don't think, as much as I love Cosgrove, I don't think it's working for him today. So he may very well be replaced by the goal-shy Eddie Nketiah, who is still yet to score, although he is getting his fair share of assists. So he's not drawing a total blank. Safuk. Wilson, back to Safuk. That's a good ball in behind the defence. And that's a good header from Hernandez, and he's doubled his tally for the day on the 50th minute. And it's another early headed goal in this second half. A lovely curled cross into the box. And Hernandez beats the goalkeeper at the near post once again. So Leicester have decided to change things up front, and Slimani is coming on for Kelechi Iheanacho, who of course is in scintillating form at the moment for Leicester in real life, having scored 5 goals in 2 matches, I think it is. Now let's make a change of our own, and as much as I love you, Cosgrove, it's not really working for us today. We're going to put on Eddie Nketiah. I'm going to see if perhaps he can strike it lucky and get himself a goal. He's a pretty good header of the ball despite his diminutive stature, so he'll fancy this today. That's an easy one to Safuk. You say tomato, I say tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Ndidi. Back to Soyuncu. Tom Davies. Again, back to Soyuncu. Long ball forward. Safuk is underneath it, gets the ball. Hernandez into Nketiah. Was looking for one over the top, couldn't quite manage it, but they maintain possession. And he's working hard, isn't he? Just not quite getting the reward at the moment, but it will come, I'm sure of it. I wonder how much of it is a block on my part. Maybe I'm trying a bit too hard, trying to force it. It goes out for a Forest throw, which Ribeiro takes on this left-hand side. Long one forward, which Hugma wins. Oh, that's not a good pass, though. We've given possession right back to Leicester. Now Slimani to Ricardo Pereira. Ndidi. Nketiah. Hlošek. Hlošek's got the beat. No, he hasn't got the beating of his man. I thought he did for a second. It's Pereira. They're trying again down this flank, and again, it's not worked out for them. Oh, Nketiah was nearly in behind there, but it was well cut out by the Leicester defence. And it's an easy catch for Nubel. Now, Busquets gets to restart things. Arcas now. Leicester doing a better job of shutting the flanks down here. Not quite good enough though. Here's Zafuk into Nketiah. Back to Zafuk or Zafuk. Depends how you want to say it. I'm all over the place with my pronunciation since I learned how it's really said. He's been stranded a little bit here, but he's making up space very quickly indeed. Here's Tom Davies into the middle. Again, Nubel with a very, very comfortable catch. We'll just see if we can make any other changes here. I think Asen Sao on for Arcas just to shore things up a little bit in the middle. We'll switch in with Busquets, allow Busquets a little bit more forward motion. Run out of substitutions. Malejo will have to wait another day. That goes out of play for a Forest throw. Substitutions all made now. Roshek might keep that in. No, he doesn't quite manage it, but he wins the ball back. He's an asset down this side, and Nketiah might be in here, and ooh, snatched at it again. Brilliant play from Roshek to win the ball back, though. Well, the goalkeeper wasn't expecting it. But unfortunately, Nketiah couldn't get it on target. Looks like he's going to draw a blank again. It's not for the want of trying, though. There we go. It's a 2-0 victory away from home for Nottingham Forest. You can see what it means to some of the players on the pitch there. It's a brace for Chucho Hernandez, the deadly Colombian assassin, who's managed to score twice with his noggin. And weren't they absolute peaches? The first one, a cross in from the left-hand side. Yuri Ribeiro just caressing the ball into the path of his strike. I was going to call him a strike partner there. His striker. Lovely header. And the second one might even be better. We've seen that before. We shall go to the match information screen where we've absolutely dominated the game. Leicester really didn't have too much in response. Brendan Rodgers won't be happy with what he's seen from his team today, but I don't really care. Yuri Ribeiro getting rave reviews on the left-hand side of the Forest defence today with a 7 rating, although of course Hernandez is the man of the match with a 7.5 after that heroic brace put his team home and dry. Here's the rest of the results from the 20th match day of the Premier League season. And here's how the Premier League is totting up. We are now 4th in the league on 41 points. Only a single point separates us and second placed Manchester City. Manchester United are 7 points clear of the pack at the moment, 8 points clear of us. We have Liverpool and Chelsea right behind us, snapping at our heels. And Wolverhampton Wanderers are also trying to keep up. If we could just extend the gap between Wolves and Chelsea, then I would be more than comfortable. sixth place, of course, would give us European football, which is what we're after. Although I would like Champions League, if I'm honest, even if it would mean that we'd probably end up getting smashed in 6 consecutive group stage matches. So that's going to do us for another episode of The Forest Job. Thank you so much for watching. When you come back next time, we won't have any highlights for you because it's going to be the next round of the FA Cup against those nasty little Stokies. Hopefully we can put one over on Stoke City. You'll have to wait until next time to find out. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.